Hello everyone, welcome. Welcome. I am going to give 1 minute and then I'm going to start to see if others will join. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to the very first episode. Yes, episode one of the soft launch of this shift, navigating perimenopause with clarity and confidence. I am Vera, a certified menopause practitioner, a women's wellness advocate, and someone who is passionate about giving women the space to have real, raw, and reassuring conversations about what is happening in our bodies. I am so honored to kick off this journey with you all today. Whether you're here because something feels off or you are just curious about what midlife health really means, this is a space for you. If you're watching live, drop a hi in the comments and let us know where you're tuning in from. This episode is one of our three-part soft launch mini-series, and today we are diving into a conversation many women don't even know they need to have. Is this normal? What exactly is perimenopause? And how do we recognize its early signs before it completely throws us off? Tonight's episode is titled Conversations We Have Been Avoiding. And that title alone probably stirred something in you. Conversations we've been avoiding. This is the title for tonight's episode. Because the truth is, most women in their late 30s, 40s, and even 50s are walking around with symptoms, questions, and fears that we are not talking about. And the shift is here to change that. This mini series launch is such a perfect way to kick off what I hope will become a safe space, your source of clarity and your sisterhood. So many of us women are going through a major shift, but we were never told what to expect. Feel free to drop a hi in the chat. Tell us where you're watching from. Let's kick things off with some quick check-ins. Drop a love emoji if you are new to this topic. If you have been doing some research or if you know this stage is hitting you hard right now. Hi sis Claudine. Thank you so much for joining us. Our sister Claudine is joining us from the UK. Thank you so much, sis. So, before we dive in, I want to share with you all why I created this talk show, The Shift. This talk series was born from both personal experience and professional frustration. Watching too many women struggle in silence with confusing symptoms, feeling dismissed by healthcare providers, or believe that what they are feeling was just part of them getting older. I see woman after woman in my clinic who are overwhelmed, anxious, gaining weight, having mood swings or low libido, and are being told it is just stress or they are just getting older. With no lab work, no discussion, just dismissal. So, this show is not just a talk, it is a movement. It is a space for us to learn, to unlearn, laugh, maybe cry a little, and most importantly, feel seen and supported. The shift is here to rewrite the narrative, to empower, educate, and support women in this beautiful transitional chapter of life. My sister and friend Claudine says, thank you for dedicating time to educate and support us. Thank you so much, sis. I am so excited for this new journey. Thank you so much for being here today. Let me know in the comment section if you have any questions. If you are watching us live, please tell us where you're watching us from. And you can drop your comments in the chat and I'll be answering them. No question is too small. No question is too silly. Drop your questions, your concerns in the comment section. You can also drop them anonymously, and I will answer them as we go. So let's get into it. What are the conversations you've been avoiding lately about your health, your emotions, and your body? Go ahead and type in the chat. You can also comment anonymously in the chat. One thing I have been avoiding is You don't need to comment with your name. You can comment without your name and I'll respond to you. And let me tell you something I have seen way too often. When women don't talk about what they are going through, it gets misdiagnosed, delayed, and dismissed. Your fatigue gets called laziness. Your anxiety gets called dramatic. Your hormonal weight gain gets blamed on willpower. So let's start with the basics. What is perimenopause? I know there are some people that are going to be watching, they've never heard this word, even though they're experiencing the symptoms. Perimenopause is the transitional period before menopause. I know you all must have heard about menopause, but you haven't heard about perimenopause. So, for someone who has never heard this word, or someone who's heard it but doesn't know what it means, perimenopause is a transitional period before menopause. It can start as early as your mid 30s and last anywhere from 4 to 10 years. Perimenopause can start as early as in your mid 30s and can last anywhere from 4 to 10 years. Yes, you heard that right. Up to 10 years of changes. But most women, most of us don't see this coming. The thing is, most women don't recognize it until they are thick inside of it. Why? Because the signs don't always show up in your period. They show up either in your mood, your energy, your sleep, your weight, your skin, and your brain. And too often, they are dismissed as just stress. Hey ladies, have you heard of the word perimenopause before today? Drop a comment in the chat if this is your first time, if this is your first real conversation about it. Our sister Claudine is asking, do you then transition into menopause after the period of perimenopause? Yes. So after the period of perimenopause, you transition into menopause. Menopause actually is 12 months. After perimenopause, you go 12 months without your period. So if you go 12 months without a period, it means that you are in perimenopause. So yes, you transition into menopause after the period of perimenopause. And this transition varies from woman to woman. Some people can have perimenopause for 4 years. Some people can have it for 8 years. Some people can have it for up to 10 years. So like I mentioned earlier, the transitional phase is from 4 to 10 years. So it can take from anywhere from 4 to 10 years for somebody to get into menopause. And menopause is the permanent cessation of your period. When you go for 12 good months without a period, it means that you are in menopause. I hope this answers your questions, Chloe. Thank you so much for that question. So, some quick facts about perimenopause. Like I mentioned earlier, perimenopause begins in your mid 30s to 40s and even 50s. You begin to have irregular cycles, sleep changes, mood swings, weight gain, and changes in fat distribution. As a woman in the late 30s or 40s, have you started noticing any of these changes? Type me in the comments if this resonates with you. Now, let's talk about the symptoms that often get brushed off or misdiagnosed. What symptoms of perimenopause often get brushed off? Maybe you've been experiencing extreme fatigue that coffee does not fix. Or maybe your cycle has changed, becoming heavier, lighter, closer together, or further apart. Some women even report feeling anxious or down for the first time ever. So, if you're a woman in your mid 30s or 40s and you have been experiencing sudden anxiety or mood swings, you might be in perimenopause. You are not just crazy. Tell me if this sounds familiar. You are tired even after sleeping. You feel anxious for no reason. Your patience is very thin. You are crying even at commercials. And you are wondering, what is happening to me? Drop an emoji in the chat if your mood or energy have shifted in the last year and you can't explain it. Or comment me if you have felt unlike yourself today. So, we are talking about the body changes we whisper about or Google at 2 a.m., but never bring it up. So many women are wondering what is happening to us. Periods that are heavier, longer, shorter, or go missing for 2 months and then come back. Sleep that feels broken no matter how early you go to bed. Libido that gets vanished. Hot flushes and night sweat in your late 30s and 40s. Remember, you are not broken. You are not alone. This is hormonal fluctuation. It affects everything from estrogen to progesterone to cortisol and insulin. If you're watching us live, please tell us where you're watching from. So during perimenopause, there is estrogen and progesterone fluctuations. As women, we do have estrogen receptors all over our bodies. So I'm going to be listing some of the common symptoms of perimenopause. When so many women think of perimenopause or even menopause, they think of symptoms like hot flushes and night sweats. But perimenopause and menopause, it's more than that. Just because we have estrogen receptors all over our body, the symptoms of perimenopause are huge. There's a huge list of symptoms because we have these estrogen receptors all over our body. I'm just going to list the common symptoms here. You might have brain fog, become forgetful, anxiety, irritability, sleep disturbances where you're waking up at 3 a.m. in the morning and can't go back to sleep. You might be experiencing lower libido, vaginal dryness, hot flushes and night sweats, palpitations, dry mouth, frozen shoulder. These are just a few of the symptoms. If you are a lady in your mid-30s or 40s and just feeling off lately, make sure you talk to a healthcare provider. So, which of these symptoms listed surprised you the most? Comment in the chat if you have been dealing with hot flushes or night sweat or sleep issues in your late 30s, 40s, or even 50s, or if you have been experiencing any of the above symptoms that I just talked about. Hello, Joyce. Joyce is my mother-in-law. She says she's watching from Nevada. Thank you so much, Mom, for joining us today. Thank you. I really appreciate your presence. Thank you so much. And Claudine is asking, can you please explain how frozen shoulders present itself? Can you please explain how frozen shoulder presents itself? Thank you so much, Claudine, for asking that question. So yes, during perimenopause, you can begin to have frozen shoulder and it presents itself like stiffness and some pain in your shoulder. You know, you start having decreased range of motion in shoulders. It can be one shoulder or two shoulder without doing something that should cause that. This is one of the most common symptoms that women don't understand, that they are in perimenopause or even menopause. You start having that shoulder or neck pain and stiffness, and it's all due to the hormonal changes. Shoulder pain and stiffness from out of nowhere is one of the most common symptoms of perimenopause and menopause, because your estrogen is declining. I do hope that answers your question, Chloe. Thank you so much for that important question, because so many women don't know that frozen shoulder is a symptom of perimenopause or menopause. And Joyce, my mother-in-law, says the frozen shoulder was a surprise. That is one thing I had. Yes, frozen shoulder is very common. It's one of the most common symptoms of perimenopause and menopause, because your estrogen is declining. And like I mentioned earlier, we have estrogen receptors all over our bodies. That's why there's more than 100 symptoms of perimenopause and menopause. Thank you so much. And Claudine is asking, how do we manage the symptoms of frozen shoulder during perimenopause? We can manage these symptoms by doing some physical therapy. Physical therapy can help relieve the symptoms of frozen shoulder during perimenopause. Gentle stretching exercises. You can also do some ice or heat application 5 to 10 minutes a day. Ice or heat, depending on which one you tolerate better. Because sometimes the frozen shoulder is like on and off, it comes and goes. So physical therapy, gentle stretching exercises, and also managing our weight is one of the most important things, like to manage these symptoms. Gentle stretches, physical therapy, ice or heat, or non-steroidal inflammatory medications like ibuprofen, if you can tolerate it. Physical therapy, ice, heat, gentle stretching exercises, and managing our weight can help manage the symptoms of frozen shoulder during perimenopause. I do hope this answers your question, Claudine. Thank you so much for that question. So, we were talking about the symptoms that surprised you the most. The symptoms of perimenopause that surprised you the most. Thank you so much, Joyce and Claudine, for the questions. And my mother-in-law, Joyce, is saying that she got physical therapy first and then went to a bone and joint doctor to get cortisone shots. Yes, physical therapy is so helpful, and the cortisone shots too are very helpful. Thank you so much, Joyce, for sharing your experience. I really appreciate it. And guess what? None of these symptoms means that you are broken. It means that your body is shifting. But you cannot get the support that you need if you are silent. Let me know in the comments, what is that one symptom that made you start Googling things late at night? What is that one symptom that made you start Googling things late at night? From the symptoms that I listed above, what is that one symptom, if you start experiencing it, that made you start Googling stuff? Let me know in the comments. And Joy says, no one ever mentioned to me that frozen shoulder was related to menopause. Yes, a lot of people and even healthcare providers don't understand the symptoms of perimenopause and menopause. A lot of providers get women dismissed. They don't know these symptoms because most often symptoms of menopause mimic the symptoms of other conditions. So if you go and tell them, oh, you're having the frozen shoulder, they'll tell you, oh, maybe it's from getting old, or maybe you lifted something heavier. Most healthcare providers cannot differentiate the symptoms of menopause. They don't even know these symptoms because most of them are not educated about it. So women get dismissed every day, or they are treated with different medications, thinking it's something else. Meanwhile, it's all related to perimenopause and menopause. Like I mentioned earlier, we have estrogen receptors all over our bodies. So when your estrogen is declining during perimenopause or menopause, you start having all this wide range of symptoms from head to toe because we have those estrogen receptors all over our body. And this is one of the reasons that I created this shift, this talk show, because so many women and even healthcare providers do not understand the symptoms of perimenopause and menopause. Women often get dismissed. Sometimes they are being told it is just stress, your symptoms are just in your head. And these symptoms are all very common. But just because they are common doesn't mean you have to suffer in silence. That's why I created this shift show, this space. It is a non-judgmental space. So now let's talk about the emotional and mental toll this transition takes. Many women feel dismissed by their doctors, like I mentioned earlier. Many women are dismissed by their families and even themselves because they don't believe that these symptoms are hormonal related. You might have been told it is just stress, it is just aging, or even worse, it is just in your head. But I want to assure you that your experience is real. Have you ever felt dismissed when talking to someone about how you're feeling? Type yes in the chat if you've been there before. We need to shift the way we talk about this stage of life because you're not overreacting and you are not just imagining it. Your body is shifting hormonally, emotionally, and physically. So type yes in the chat if you've ever felt dismissed when talking to someone about how you are feeling. Okay, so now that we know this is real, now that we know that your symptoms are real, what can we do about it? What can we do about your symptoms? First of all, track your symptoms by using a symptom tracker journal because awareness is very powerful. Knowing your symptoms is very important. Knowing that your symptoms are related to perimenopause and midlife is the first step in knowing what to do to control these symptoms. Prioritize protein by consuming at least 30 grams of protein with each meal. Strength training and resistance training is very helpful, at least 3 to 4 times a week. Prioritizing 7 to 9 hours of sleep each night is so important during this transitional phase. So, If you are a woman in your late 30s and 40s and have noticed symptoms that are affecting your quality of life, such as mood changes, sleep issues, irregular cycles, weight changes, it is time to speak up. Ask your healthcare practitioner the following questions. Can we check my hormone levels? Can we screen my thyroid and vitamin D? Can we look into insulin resistance, fasting insulin, and A1C to check for diabetes? Ask your healthcare practitioner, what are my options just beyond birth control or antidepressants? Because so many women get put on birth control pills and antidepressants. And if your healthcare provider brushes you off, know this: you are allowed to find a new practitioner who listens, educates, and collaborates. You are allowed to be heard. I'll repeat that again. If your healthcare practitioner brushes off your symptoms, you are allowed to find a new practitioner who listens, educates, and collaborates with you about your health. What is that one question you have been afraid to ask your healthcare provider? What is that one question that you've been afraid to ask your healthcare professional? Drop it in the chat. We will answer it. So, here is what we're going to start doing differently starting from today. Here is what we are going to start doing differently starting from today. As women, we are going to start choosing truth over silence. We are choosing clarity over confusion. We are choosing community over isolation. Perimenopause is not a disease. It is a transitional period. It is a natural transitional phase. And just like puberty, pregnancy, or postpartum, it deserves compassion, education, and support. If this resonates with you, type shift in the comment. Every week, we are going to unpack something different: hormones, weight, libido, identity, mental health, all of it. We are not shying away. We are going to be shifting forward. Now, let's pause here. I want to open the floor to you all. Let's take a few minutes for real talk. I want to hear your questions. The ones you've been Googling at 3 a.m. or you've been too shy to ask your healthcare provider or your doctor. I will scroll through the chat and answer the questions. Don't be shy. This is your safe space. Drop a question in the chat if you have ever been confused about what is happening with your body lately. What is one question you've always wanted to ask your body, your hormones, or this stage of life? Please drop your questions below in the chat and I will try to get to them. Please drop your questions in the comments. I will answer them. And you can also drop your questions anonymously. So let's take a deep breath together. Today, we step into truth. We name the things we've been avoiding. Fatigue that isn't fixed by naps, anxiety that hits out of nowhere, the body that feels unfamiliar. A body that feels unfamiliar, and the realization that we are not alone. Today you lean in, you got real, and I just want to remind you that this is only the beginning. Remember, you're not crazy. You are not lazy. You're not alone. You are in a powerful transition, and we are navigating this together. Remember, perimenopause can begin earlier than you think. You are not just imagining your symptoms. You deserve some lab work, support, and clarity. This is your body shifting. It is not your downfall. Before we wrap up, thank you all for being here. Thank you, Claudine and Joyce. Thank you for listening, for asking questions. Thank you for showing up for you. Drop a gift emoji in the chat or comment if you want our free PDF bundle of your first 30 days of perimenopause clarity. Drop a gift emoji in the chat or comment if you want our free PDF bundle of your first 30 days of perimenopause clarity. In our next episode, we will be talking about perimenopause and weight gain, what the scale is not telling you. We will be talking fat versus muscles, hormones, and why your old approach might not work anymore. Remember, you are not losing yourself. You are meeting a new version of you, and the shift is how we get there together. Thank you all so much for being here today. Until next time, stay positive, stay curious, and give yourself some grace. Thank you all so much for being here today.